Okay, I'm back. Actually, I can record for quite some time. Before my procedural destruction tutorial was like 30 minutes in total, and it took up like 80 gigabytes of space, and it was crazy. I had to go through like hours and hours of splitting the files up, combining them, and put them on YouTube. That took a long time. But the new program that I'm using actually, this is going into about an hour and a half tutorial already, and the file size is only 500 megabytes, so I'm very happy about that. I'm not going to worry about having to split up and convert files and stuff, so that's good. Good for my sake. It doesn't really matter for you guys due to the fact that you guys see the end result, not me splitting everything up. Okay, so before I stopped the video, I told you I was going to tell you how to make it pickable. What I actually want to do now is, instead of doing that, I want to bring this object into Cryengine just to show you that it works. The object could be exported and what it looks like, and show you that it won't be pickable. And then I'll go back and show you how to make it pickable. I'm just want to let you know as well, I'm doing this because I do anticipate some export errors. I haven't tried it yet, but due to past experiences, I can assume on how I modeled this, there will be some export errors. So let's go ahead and try that. There may not be, but I'm anticipating some, and if they, I hope they do arrive so I can show you how to fix those. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that my object at 000 world coordinates, and I believe I did that before, but if it's not, just left click on it, right click on the select and move transform widget, and just right click on these arrows to make sure it's 000, and which it is. I'm going to want to take this object and go to the rotate tool, and I want to make sure my angle snap is on. I have this set to 5-degree increments, so I'm going to rotate this so that it's straight up in the scene. And it is. I don't have to put it straight up, but this is what I like to do. So there we go. That's pretty good. All right. So I'm going to select my object, make sure, because I made modifications to the transform, I'm going to reset my X form of the object, and then I'm going to go ahead and collapse the modifier. Okay, so I'm going to go into the materials and axis selected. Remember, it was a Crytek shader, physicalized default because I have no proxies. That's good. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to end up going to the Utilities tab, go into Cryengine 3 Exporter, and go ahead and add selected. It's going to add the axe there. Before you export any object, you got to remember to save your max file in the same folder you want to export the object to, which is going to be File, Save As, and go ahead and navigate to your Cryengine folder where you want that object to be exported. Remember, it does need to be located in the Cryengine folder structures, otherwise you won't be able to use it in Cryengine. Cryengine doesn't recognize anything that's outside of its folder structure, so you couldn't save it on your desktop and then have it be used in Cryengine. It just won't work. So I'm going to go ahead and save this axe into my Cryengine game, my files, objects, props folder. You won't have that because this is my structure, and you can go ahead and make your own. I'm going to name this axe the same name as my object here. It's not really important, but just, you know, just name it the same object as your name is the same as your object. Go ahead and push save. Then you can go ahead and make sure export file per node is selected, merge all nodes is off, and then go ahead and export nodes. Like I expected, there is some errors. Most likely these can be avoided. Even if it pops up, you can just keep clicking OK and OK and OK, and it should go through. If it does not go through and it's actually an error that it won't let it export, which I hope it does so I can teach you guys how to get over that, then you're going to have to fix it before you can export. And there was no errors, so that's fine. I mean, it's good. There was no errors. So we've now exported that object. You're going to create a material for it as well. So make sure that you are open the material editor, and make sure your material slot is open and that you're at the home page. If this was a multi-sub-object material, make sure that you're at the home of the root of it, not in one of these sub-materials. Make sure you're at the actual base material in the same name. and then go ahead and click Create Material from Max to Create Material in the Cryengine 3 exporter settings. This is going to go ahead and open up Cryengine and ask you to log in. Once this pops up, you're going to want to hit the Create Material Again button. It's going to ask you where to save it. Remember to save your material with the exact same name as your object. So in the same folder as your exported object. That is important. Otherwise, your material won't be automatically assigned to the object. You have to keep assigning the material to the object. So go ahead. I put mine in Cryengine, Game, My Files, Objects, Props, and I'm going to go ahead and save the exact same name. AXE. Capitalization is important, I believe. Okay, I've go ahead and saved it. And here it is. Cryengine is not open, just the material editor of Cryengine is open. So if you go to the surface types, if you want to set it to metal, if you wanted to, it's not going to show up because it's not recognizing that the resources of Cryengine here, because it's only a material editor, not the actual engine. So you're going to need to change this. You're going to need to edit the material once Cryengine is open. So just leave everything at default, but do make sure you push the save item. So make sure you select it and then you click save. You can go ahead and escape out of that. The material is good there. So now we're going to set up the textures to work with Cryengine, and we're going to be using Photoshop for that. So we're going to go ahead and open up, first minimize this and then open up Photoshop. This is my son, in case you were wondering. Yeah, he's my little boy. He turns 1 January 9th. I have two children. Jeffrey, he's turning 4 in January, and Richie, this is Richie here, turning 1 in January. They both have the same birthday, January 9th. It's unusual, but it's pretty nice. I won't forget their birthdays, you know. But yep, it's my little boy. Alright, so once Photoshop is open, okay, fully loaded here, we're going to navigate to where we saved our textures, and I believe we saved them into the models folder. Axe, textures, and we're going to take these 3 textures, not the normal map, because that's still a bump map and it needs to be converted to a normal map. So go ahead and take the Axe diffuse. And the reason why it needed to be 8-bit is because if you took 16-bit and then put it into Photoshop, it would have messed up your texture really bad. Go ahead and take your specular, and don't drop it here. Drop it right next to the tab here, and you're going to get 2 files. We'll worry about the normal map after I've exported the specular and the diffuse. A good trick to save on performance is this is a normal map, a diffuse map, and this is a specular map. There are 2 different slots you can insert these into the Cryengine, but you know, 2 textures takes up more memory than 1, and thank God Cryengine allows for you to put the specular map inside of the alpha channel of the diffuse to save on. So you're going to get a specular and a diffuse map all in 1 texture. So that's pretty cool that Cryengine does that. So in order to do that, you're going to go onto the specular texture by just left-clicking on the tab. Here's your specular texture. You can edit it brighter if you want. This is the steps to do it. This is the chance to do it if you want to make it brighter or make any modifications. Put your Photoshop skills to use. You're going to want to go to the channels tab, and you're not going to want an alpha here, so you can go ahead and delete the alpha channel. You typically do not want alpha channels unless you need it for a specific reason, like the diffuse is going to need an alpha to put the specular inside of it. Once you've done this, you can go ahead and just push Control A to select everything. Now the whole texture is selected, and then push Control C to copy it. Head on over to the diffuse texture, go into the channels tab. The alpha channels here, you're going to want to delete the alpha channel because it already has pre-existing texture in it. So go ahead and delete the alpha channel. That alpha channel is used for the opacity, I believe, in the other program. So go ahead and delete that. Now what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a new layer. Sorry, is this a new layer? Let's see. New channel. It's going to make an alpha channel when it does that. Make sure everything is selected here for being able to be viewable by this. You know this by the eye icon. If it doesn't have one, it means you can't. It's not viewing the red, green, and blue. Make sure everything's selected. Click on the alpha channel and hover over the blank spot here. Push Control V. This is going to import your let's see here. See, it's going to import your specular map, see, into the alpha channel. That way you can use spec and diffuse and the specular in one texture to save on some memory. Now that you've done that, you can just close out of the specular because you're not going to need it anymore, and go ahead and click no, you don't want to save any changes. Just hide the alpha channel here just by clicking on that eye icon. Then you can go ahead and go to File, and then you're going to save. I'm just going to open up a dialog box where you can choose to actually, let me just cancel out of this. You're going to want to push Save As. Save As is going to open up a dialog box, and you're going to want to select Format of Crytek plugin. From that, you're going to leave everything as default, which if you have an alpha channel, it's going to say alpha channel checkbox. Don't choose as a copy, and just, it pretty much detects it automatically. You're going to want to navigate to your Cryengine directory. Like I said, it won't recognize anything that's not inside of its folder structure. Alright, so we're going to want to go into the local desktop. Where am I located? I'm located in the desktop, current Cryengine, game. You can put it wherever you want, my files, and I have a textures folder I'm going to put it into. I have axe diff is what I'm going to name it, and there's no special naming conventions for diffuse textures, but there is for normal maps. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and click Save. This could open up the Crytek the plugin settings dialog box, and this is a chance where you get to reduce the resolution and stuff like that, and choose your presets. If you notice, the left side is the source texture. It's 2048 by 2048, and it takes up 16 megabytes of memory, which is quite a bit. If you notice on the right hand side, it's actually downscaled to a 1024 pixels. Let's go ahead and left click on the source texture and just scroll in to zoom right in. See this part of the texture here, and then this part of the texture here. This is lower quality because it's a 1024, so that's how you know it's being downscaled. But for right now, I do want to keep that at a 2048. So on the Reduce Resolution tab, you can go to the drop-down box and click 2048. The expand button here is if you want to set certain resolutions for certain consoles and PC. So if I go on ahead and I click expand once, you're going to notice that it has a resolution you can choose for PC, and then a resolution you can choose for Xbox 360 and PS3. You know, because obviously you want the consoles to be a lesser quality because they're not as powerful as gaming PCs. We're going to want to hit expand again, and you're going to now notice that there's a one for PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. This is so that if Xbox 360 is able to handle certain textures at a higher resolution or lower resolution, you can set them, and same thing for the PS3. I'm not making anything for any of the consoles, so I don't really need to worry about that. I can just hit collapse twice and go back. So I'm going to, like I said, 2048, 2048. Even though these are the same texture resolution, 2048 by 2048, you will notice that this takes up 16 megabytes, and this only takes up 5.4 megabytes, even though they look the same quality. This is what Crytek plugin does. It basically lowers the file size to make it performance a lot better, while keeping the same resolution. And under the preset, you're going to want to choose, this is a diffuse texture, so you're going to want to choose diffuse high quality or diffuse low quality. It doesn't really matter besides engine performance. I've chosen high, I've chosen low, and they look exactly the same in engine, but the low quality does use up less memory. If I click this, it won't show the memory usage go down in here, but Crytek does run it faster. So I'm going to click high quality anyways. And now that that's done, we're pretty much ready to go, and we can click OK. It's going to save that texture in that directory we told it to. Okay, now that's all done. Now we need to worry about turning that bump map into a actual normal map, and we can do that by opening up Xnormal. Xnormal is also free. It's X, as in the letter X, normal, N-O-R-M-L, which is right here, and that's a free program as well. For doing a lot of mapping features and stuff. It's a pretty cool program. You should look into it. From here, once I'm opened it, I'm gonna go into the tools category, and you're gonna see immediately height map to normal map. This is gonna convert any bump map that you have. That's what it is. A height map is really a bump map. So you're gonna take this height map to normal map. You're gonna click that. It's gonna ask you to import, you know, a file. So in the height map section, right click and click browse height map. go ahead and go to the texture that you exported for the axe, models, axe, textures, Photoshop PSD importer. You're going to find, let's see, I think it's a TIFF. Yeah, it is. So go ahead and axe normal TIFF. This right here is saying LZW compression support is not configured. Apparently this texture that Mudbox saved used LZW compression, which apparently this program does not support, so we're going to have to make a modification to that. It's going to keep giving you the error over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to put Alt F4. Actually, I'm going to need to, in order to close it, Control Alternate Delete, and basically going to sit there and close that process. And let's see here, where is it? X normal, right click and process tree. Okay, so let's open up X normal again, and I have a program called paint.net, and that's free as well. Pretty much all the programs I use are free. I have bought a few programs because, you know, there's a lot of free stuff you can get, but there's also, you know, if you want to get some really high quality tools, you do have to pay some money for them. So, you know, most of them are free, but I use a lot of paid programs too. You know, if you have the extra money, put that in there to, you know, if you really want to invest in your work, you might want to put a little bit of money into it. But I have another program called paint.net, and I'm just going to open it basically to open and save it. You can use just regular Paint if you want to. Paint.net just has a little bit of extra features than Paint does. So we're going to go to click and drag this, we're going to File, Open. Let's go to Desktop, Models, Axe, and just open up our normal, or bump file. Bump about to be normal, and damn it, didn't really do anything here. Alright, Jesus, never had so many problems here. That program didn't accept it. So go to Models, Axe, Textures. Let's open up this normal map inside of this here. This didn't accept it either. God dang it. So let's just try good old handy regular Paint. Come on, Paint. Alright, so let's go to textures, and let's take this normal map and bring it right into here. Thank freaking Lord. Out of all high-end programs, Paint will open it up and show me. Alright, good. So we're going to just resave this and not use the compression of LZW. Hopefully JPEG doesn't use that, so I'm going to just save that. Any transparency will be lost if we save it. Yeah, go ahead and save it. So I'm going to go ahead and Models, Axe, Textures, and this is a JPEG here, and there we go. Now it's in Photoshop. It's really nice. Although it's not supposed to be in Photoshop, my bad. So go to X normal, go to Tools, and then Height Map to Normal Map. Go ahead and right click and then browse Height Map, and just make sure all types is selected, and you can see your JPEG here. Open up your JPEG and you can see that it's gone ahead and imported properly. And height source, I'm not sure what normal maps use. I mean, there's some tech guys out there that really know this kind of stuff, but I'm not sure what channel the height comes from a normal map. So I'm just going to leave it in R. I'm trusting that the program already knows basically what it is. I'm going to go ahead and just right click and just leave everything at default here. Right click. Oh, make sure that the Y is negative. X, Y, and Z, everything's positive except for Y is negative. That will make your normal map look a lot better in Cryengine. So go ahead and right click on the normal map section and click generate. It's going to go ahead and create a normal map out of your bump map, and it did. It went ahead and did so. Although I'm not sure exactly how good it made the normal map because of the site. necessarily because of the R. I'm going to go ahead and choose average RGB as that and just regenerate it and see if anything is different. Okay, I just think it's good just to use R and just right click and generate. Alright, let's go ahead and did that, and just right click and just save normal map, and just name it the same x underscore normal tiff, and just go ahead and save it. Replace it if you need to. There we go. Now that I've gone and done that, before we import it into Photoshop, actually not before. Okay, yeah, before, yeah, bringing the normal map into Photoshop, and okay, you're gonna notice that Photoshop shows it as black. This is because it's not an 8-bit. This is a 32-bit. That's what that program saved it at. This is a lot of jumping through hoops. I'm sorry about this, guys, but go ahead and open up this normal map with, let's say, regular paint. Apparently, paint has some good luck here. So let's open up this normal map with that here, and good. Let's go ahead and resave it. File, save as, and save it as a TIFF. And go ahead and just save and replace. Okay. So let's try and open this back up in Photoshop, see if this works here. And I guess you could look at this as a Photoshop tutorial as well on exporting your textures. So basically an all-in-one. All right, we're going to File, and we're going to save this as. And because normal maps do use a custom naming convention, you could save your normal map any name you want, and Cryengine will use it, and it'll work okay. But in order to really optimize how Cryengine reads normal maps, and to let Cryengine know that, hey, this is a normal map, and to do the appropriate rendering, and just for it to be 100% compatible and it to get all the features it needs to, normal maps do need to have the underscore DDN under it to let it know it's an underscore. So all your normal maps can be named ax underscore normal, or whatever you want. But at the end, the suffix needs to be blah 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 as an ax underscore DDN, just like this. This is what normal maps need to be saved as, is ax underscore DDN. Underscore DDN is needed, just so you know. I'm going to save that also in my textures folder. That's in the Cryengine structure. If you needed to know, that's current Cryengine game, my files, textures, with the rest of my textures. Go ahead and click save. I'm going to go ahead and keep that 2048 resolution, just like before, and going to choose a preset. You do have to modify the preset for each texture, depending on what it is. This is going to be a normal map, and I'm going to choose normal map high quality. You could use normal map low quality, and but if you choose normal map high quality and to get better, resolution and stuff like that, if the program knows, it basically analyzes the normal map, and it'll detect if you'll have no difference in the low quality version. Let's say I choose high quality, and the program will search for it and says, hey, using the low quality is going to be the same thing as high quality, so why not use that? Which is a good idea, because why use a high quality if the low quality is going to be the exact same thing? In this program, on the normal map presets, it does let you know if you choose a high quality, it'll let you know if the low quality will be the same thing, and that says it right here. For this normal map, you can use normal map low quality preset, which is nearly the same quality and saves memory. Bada bing, bada boom. So go ahead and choose normal map low quality. If the high quality is needed, nothing will pop up here. So let's go ahead and just click OK to save it here. It's gone ahead and did that. So we got our specular, our diffuse, and our normal map already. We've already exported our object and our materials. So all we need to do now is basically open up Cryengine. I'm going to do that here. I'm going to see if my video is still recording, and it is good. Alright, I'm going to log in. this is open here. I'm going to click File, Open, Realistic Terrain, my map that I made. I'm just going to check this out. Just look at the object to show you that it's not you're not going to be able to pick it up. That's the whole purpose of doing this. Okay, this is my concrete I made, but not really important. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go to the geometry entity, and we're going to go to My Files, Objects, Props. Not props. I saved this object in, yeah, I did save it in props. Here's my axe here. If I zoom in on the preview, you're going to see there's no texture applied. So just go ahead and click and drag and add it in here. There we go. That's fine. Just replace me texture. So let's go ahead and add this texture onto here. We've created the material. We just got to assign the textures to it, and that's going to be done by going to clicking on the object and get item from selected object. It's going to bring open the material highlighted in yellow that it's using, and surface type. We're going to want to click a metal. Unfortunately, because we did not create two different materials, if you shoot, let's say, this part here, it's going to hit metal because we set the surface type as, and if you shoot the wood part, obviously that's not metal, but it's still going to have the metal effect to it, the particle effects and stuff, because of the fact that it's only one material, it's not a sub-object. If you wanted to get the wood to be wood hit, if you hit it, and the metal to be metal, you'd go ahead in 3D Studio Max and create two different sub-materials, one for the wood and one for this, and you can assign this to wood and then this to metal. But since I haven't done that, because this is a quick tutorial on, not quick, but just showing you step by step the basics. Now, so go ahead and click that material. Typically, your diffuse color, you want to get the same color you're using as the textures. You want to set the diffuse to a 128, 128, 128. This will maintain the same coloration as the texture you had. For specular, you want to do the same thing. Again, you can use anything you want for these values, but 128 on each one is pretty good. I hope Cryengine uses puts in a new feature in the new update called, use diffuse color only. Allowing it to basically use the color of the diffuse maps as the color it's using, and not use this as to tint it. But to get the best, to actually simulate using the exact same color, you're going to want to put these at 128. Alright, we're going to go ahead into diffuse tab here and add our texture that this is supposed to be using, and that's My Files textures where I had it, axe _diff. So we're going to go ahead and click that. Your Cryengine is going to freeze for a couple seconds while it creates and compiles the .dds. Crytiff uses the TIF file format, but what it does is it generates a .dds file format, which is a lot smaller and highly compressed file that it actually uses. It's still frozen here, but it's generating the DDS. So what happens is when you choose to save your your textures as a .tif, that's the source file that it's going to generate the DDS from. When you choose those settings in the Crytiff exporter, all those like presets and the resolutions and stuff, it does not modify the source texture, the TIF. What it actually does is it creates the .dds, and that DDS file is what actually holds all those presets, like all those settings that you chose in the Cryengine exporter. So when you click the TIF texture, even though you've assigned the TIF, it actually uses the .dds. So go ahead and use the TIF. That's better instead. Go to specular and just go to those textures, and actually we don't need specular because we've already chosen it to use the diffuse as the alpha channel. The diffuse is a specular, and by default when you do that, it's not going to notice that that's what's going on. So you're going to want to scroll down to the shader generation parameters, and gloss map and diffuse alpha needs to be checked, and that's going to allow you to use the specular and the diffuse alpha. You can go ahead and take the bump map here and just import that normal map. And that's right here. Ax_ddn. Just go ahead and double click that. It's going to freeze again because it's compiling the .dds that it needs for that texture. Okay, we're back in here. Okay, there we go. So that's an okay okay texture. I mean, like I said, it's not the best, but it's okay. Okay, and we're going to go one step further by creating an actual reflection map to reflect the environment. And this is done by basically making sure your texture, your material is selected. There's an object here called Generate Cube Map for selected objects. You're going to click that, and you're going to want to save it. Games, my files, in the exact same folder as your CFG. You know, this object with that save, you're going to want to save that texture. I'm just going to name it I'm going to name it Ax_CM for cube map. You're going to save, name it whatever you want. And you choose the resolution. Obviously, the higher resolution, the higher quality is, and the more clear it is, and the lower resolution, the more blurry, but you get more performance. So I think we're going to click a 512 here. Go ahead and click that, and it's going to freeze. Make sure you don't click, otherwise Cryengine could crash because it's generating. Okay, everything's all generated here, and it's gone ahead and put that cube map already into the environment slot. In order to let it know that this environment slot is in use and that you should use it as a reflection map, you're going to want to go to the shader generation parameters and make sure environment map is checked. Now keep an eye on the left hand side and look at it update when I click this. Okay, let's go ahead and update it, and there is an environment map on this. It's extremely shiny because the strength of the environment map is actually controlled by the specular level. So you're going to want to go into here and take the specular and actually bring this down quite a bit. So you see the higher I put it, the more shiny, the lower I put it. A good value I'm thinking here is like let's say 48. That looks good enough. Glossiness is how shiny, how clear you see it. The more shiny gloss you put on it, you can definitely see right here that it's extremely shiny. You can literally make out every detail. If you lower this gloss to a very low amount, everything's going to be blurred, and it's just not going to be, in my opinion, as good. Metal should be really shiny. So I'm going to set that as a 255, the max setting here, and you can see that everything is shining like it's supposed to, reflecting the environment. Like I said, do a better job than I did at this. Take your time on it. This is just a tutorial, but you should take your time when doing this. If you look here, if you look really closely, this little here is actually the concrete walls that's behind here that it's picking up. In this version currently, there is no real-time reflections, as in this will not update. If I bring this right here, this object, and bring it on the way other side of the map, it'll still show this reflection because it is not real-time. It does not update in real-time. So pretty much this is good for static objects, things that don't move, because it will more accurately display what's around it because it was generated at this spot. So there you go. That's how you do that. To make it, I like to, when I make a reflection map, I like to make the object a little bit darker. It just, in my opinion, metal looks good if the diffuse is darker and the specular is higher. So I'm going to go ahead and darken this up. I'm going to put that as a 64. And as you can see, it's really nice. It looks like real metal. I like it quite a bit. You can do whatever you want, but I like it just like that. It's really nice, I think. You can see the normal map because it's distorted some of the stuff here. It's distorted it. It's really nice. Adds a little bit of like nicks and dents in it with the reflection map because there is a normal map onto it. So, but there you go. That's beautiful. I think I could have put more work into it, but there you go. That's reflections. Alright, so now we're going to actually get to the meat of it and get into the making the object pickable. I'm going to also save my material, and I'm going to jump right into game here. Because I did have the physicalize default on. Because I had the physicalize default on, there is collision. See? There's collision. There we go. If I shoot it, there you go. See, metal even down here, even though this is wood. So make a sub-object material for that if you want. But there you go. If I go up to it and I press F, you're going to notice that nothing happens. I'm not able to pick it up or anything at all. And I've added that as a geometry entity. I'm not able to do it. So let's go ahead and make that pickable, just like this object here that I've done with the tutorial from Crydev. I'm going to go ahead and... hold on. I gotta make sure that this is actually working here. This was working. Now it's not. Okay, let me just try something to see if it's the grab that's not working or if it's the object. Okay, the grab is working. It is my object. This was supposed to be grabbable. That's why I made the tutorial. But I'll go ahead and I'll fix that at a later date. It is possible that I'm going to have to delete that and view pane. Where's the roll up? Oh, sorry, show roll up bar here. View, show roll up bar. And I'm going to dock that where it was supposed to be. Let's go to geometry entity and let's go ahead and add the pot, because it was supposed to be pickable. So let's go ahead and jump right in game and see. Okay, it's not picking that up, but we'll get this axe being able to be picked up. Okay, let's jump back in 3D Studio Max and open this up here. Okay, so basically how you do this is there's a template file that you have to download. I don't have to, but it makes things a lot easier that I use a template file that you use. You can download from freesdk.crydev.net. So just open up your internet, whatever program you use. There we go. All right. Go to your search it and type in freesdk.crydev.net. This is tutorials that Crydev put up to do these certain things. Go ahead and asset creation guide and search for Pickable, Pickable, in search, and just go ahead and click Pickable Objects. Now this is done here. This is the file that you need to download. If you scroll down a little bit, keep scrolling down, using the Pickable Helper template file. Pickable Helper template file, you just left click this and it will download it like a Pickable template. Now you can open up 3D Studio Max and make sure you save this, and then go ahead and file, import, and then go ahead and merge. You can want to merge that. Let's see here. Okay, wherever you downloaded it, go ahead and merge the Pickable template into 3D Studio Max. And you're going to select everything. Make sure everything is selected. You can just click and drag to select everything, or you can just click all and go ahead and push OK. Just push OK. Okay, this is what's going to be imported. If you see here, this is the hand mesh. This object right here, that little white dummy helper, is a pickable template, and this little dummy helper inside of it is actually a dummy helper called grab underscore one-handed underscore 01. This, if you did not have this template file, you would go ahead and you would create a dummy and name it grab underscore one-handed underscore 01. This naming is important. The dummy would have to be named exactly this, and capitalization is important as well. But since we've merged in the template file, we don't need to create one in it because it's already here. So what we're going to do is, this is very, very important, is that you're going to want to position the axe or whatever object that you had, position it into the hands of the object, and you do not, I repeat, do not want to move this object at all. You're only going to want to move the hands mesh to align it. So what's going to happen is, not selecting the grab one-handed, but selecting the pickable template. You're going to want to need to, and you have to use it, the pickable template. You're going to have to go into the move and rotate tool to move this into place. It will not work if you use any other mode besides local. You're going to need to be into the local transform mode. You can't be in any other one. So go ahead and select the pickable template and go into the local mode. Very important. Otherwise, when you get into Cryengine, it won't be aligned properly. So go ahead and move, rotate, scale, or whatever you need to. Well, I don't think you should scale, actually, but yeah, just moving and rotating. So I'm going to go ahead and move, rotate. So this is in the appropriate slot. See, I've gone ahead and it's in the view again. I got to make sure that it's in local. Once that's in local, I can go ahead and do what I need to on turning it the appropriate way. And when I move the template, the entire thing, including the dummy helper, if I zoom in, you can see the dummy helper is also being moved as well. That's good. So just rotate it till it's in place here. Let's see. Keep rotating till it's in place. I'm going to move it into place, and this is how you're supposed to do this here, is by moving and rotating, not scaling. This object is way too big for the hands. For the hands, as you see, it won't fit in. So before I continue aligning, I'm going to select my object here. I'm going to make sure I'm in the local mode, and I'm going to go ahead and scale just this object. Not uniform. You want to be not in uniform. You're going to want to be in here, non-uniform scaling. Non-uniform scaling, and let's see. Just scale the entire object, I guess, until it's the appropriate size needed. Just go ahead and just a little bit more. There's obviously some scaling issues, but like I said, this is just a tutorial showing you how to accomplish this. You can go ahead and you can make this object taller if you need to. Like that would be fine. Go ahead and, like I said, do not move the object. You can continue selecting the pickable template and just keep rotating and moving. Do not scale, but rotating and moving. Make sure you're in the local transform mode, and go ahead and position this where you need to. We've almost got this perfectly here, almost. Just keep on going until you get it perfectly the way you need to. I'm thinking this is going to be pretty much done here. Let's go ahead and just turn this a little bit. Sorry, a little bit more. and that should be okay. Once I've done this, this is another important step that needs to be done. I mean, this is pretty much in the appropriate position, I believe. It's in the appropriate position. It looks like it's okay. Um, Once I've done this, this is something you need to do is you're going to need to go into the graph editors and go to schematic view. If there's no schematic view that's saved, go ahead and create a new one. When this is done, you're going to take the grab one-handed and you're going to make sure you're in the hierarchy mode and go ahead and link. You're going to want to link the grab one-handed helper. You're going to want to link that as a child of axe. So here we go. We took the grab one-handed and linked it to our axe model. This is important. The reason being is because when your axe moves around in the world and level, the grab one-handed will stick with the axe wherever it needs to. That needs to be done. So there we go. Once we've done this, all we have to do now is click our axe again, go to the export, make sure we go to I'm sorry, we need to go to graph editor and unlink our grab one-handed because we need to reset the X-forms of this object before we export, and because I've linked it, you never want to reset the X-form of an object if it has links attached. So whenever you're resetting X-forms, make sure that it has no links attached or it's attached to anything, and go ahead and go to reset X-form and go to reset selected. Go ahead and go to collapse and collapse all. Make sure you're in the hierarchy tab and go ahead and reset the transform and reset the scale. Once that's done, you can go open up the Cryengine exporter. Go ahead and relink your objects together. Save schematic view in the graph editors and just relink. Make sure you're in the hierarchy mode, link, and then link the grab one helper to the axe. There you go. Once you've done that, make sure your axe is selected, just the axe. You don't need anything else selected, and go ahead and add selected on the export Cryengine 3 settings, and then go ahead and make sure export file per node is on. That needs to be on. Merge all nodes are off, and then go ahead and export nodes. Once this is exported, it's going to ask you if you want to replace it. You click yes. Go ahead and push OK, and it should be done. There we go. Go ahead and resave. Go back into Cryengine. Now it's back in Cryengine. Go ahead and, if you have the object in there already, go ahead and delete it, and then push Control-Z to get it back again. This is going to reload your objects, because it's going to need to, because you changed it since last time it was used. Go ahead into the Tools, Reload Scripts. And let's see, this could be some trial and error, but this is typically how you do it. So let's go into here, right? And I have no idea why this isn't working here. Okay, let's go ahead and delete this and just push OK. Go into the Entity tab and go ahead and click Physics and go ahead and add a basic entity. Bring that into your level and place it anywhere. Then you want to go ahead and replace this mesh, obviously, by in the properties of the object under Model. Go ahead and switch it out with your axe, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. In the properties, you're going to want to make sure that Pickable is selected to yes, and then Usable selected to yes as well. And then you want to go ahead and click Reload your scripts. Let's try this again here. Okay, I went ahead and I picked that up. It's pretty much perfect, besides the fact that it's upside down. It's upside down. So let's go ahead and exit out of there. Let's go back into 3D Studio Max, and even though this is straight up the way it's supposed to be, apparently it's upside down. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take the template file right there, and a template, Pickable template. Go ahead and just turn this completely upside down. (180 degrees), and then move this as well so that it fits nicely. And just make sure that it's upside down. I mean, I guess that's important for it to be upside down. So we've gone ahead and we've done that. So we can go ahead and just click our object and go to the Utilities tab in Cryengine 3 Exporter and go ahead and just re-export by clicking Export Nodes and just click Yes. And that's okay, just push OK. Go back in Cryengine, click our object, go ahead and delete that, and then Control Z to bring it back to reload the objects. Go ahead and Tools, Reload Scripts. Go to Enter. And go ahead and just push F on the object, and you're going to notice that it goes in quite beautifully. It's nice. It goes in beautiful, beautiful. This is how to make a pickable object here. You cannot use this as a weapon because it's just a pickable weapon. You can see that the normal map's doing nice with the reflection map. It's pretty cool. You can right click to just drop it, and it's physicalized. That's why it's a basic entity, so that's why it's physicalized. Let's go ahead and turn this. Because I threw it, the weight was so light, it just kept on floating like it was gravity. Because this is a physical entity, you really don't want a physical entity. You could if you want, but you can basically add as a geometry entity, but add physical properties to it, which is what we're going to do right now. So in your object in 3D Studio Max, go ahead and right click and go to Object Properties. In the User Defined section, go ahead and type in mass equals, and let's, Cryengine uses the grams measurement, like kilograms, milligrams. So its weight is measured in kilograms. Mass is how much something weighs, and so it's using kilograms. Basically, if you want to think of pounds, that's the system you use in your country. Let's say if it's 10 kilograms, it's roughly 5 pounds, so it's roughly half in pounds. So if, let's say we want this axe to be 5 pounds, because that sounds like a good weight for it, you're going to want to choose 10 kilograms. Mass equals 10. Second of all, you're going to want to make sure that Pickable is chose. So Pickable, because a pickable option is not an option in the geometry entity, so you're going to need to add it in the object property. So type in pickable, and then below that as well, type in usable to let it know that it's usable, and that should be all pretty much you need to do. So go ahead and push OK, and then just re-export your object and get rid of that error by pushing OK. So let's try going back in 3D Studio Max. I hope this works. Go into the geometry entity. Go ahead and reload your objects by hitting the reload button. Go ahead and take your axe, bring your axe right into here. Go ahead and tools and just reload your scripts, and jump right in game. Okay, good, that guy's dead. All right, so I'm going to click F, and you're going to notice that I'm able to pick it up even though it's a geometry entity. And if I just drop it, you're going to notice it goes right to the ground, and it's physicalized like it's supposed to be. That's what's good. So you want to use a geometry entity instead. If I hold the F key, there's some default animations for throwing things. And if I let the F key go, you can notice I just threw that like crazy. So I can go ahead and I can just push F to pick it up again. and I've now got it picked up. You can notice that the axis, like on its side, it's facing towards you. And you usually want it pointed more outward. You just go ahead and you can reload your rotate your arms mesh to do that. It's basically a trial and error, but that's how you do a pickable entity, guys. And thank you for sticking through to this tutorial, sitting basically 2.5 hours, 2 hours. I appreciate it, and I've hoped you learned a lot. After this, I'm going to go ahead and make a tutorial on using this as a weapon. Last thing I want to do is show you that my axe that I actually spent a lot of time with. If you watched a procedural destruction tutorial, you noticed that I had to shoot this guy before he killed me. But I ended up coming up with a funner way to kill this guy so I don't have to shoot him. And this is what happens. There you go, he's dead. Bye-bye. And this is a barrel that I modeled, like I said, using multiple sub-materials. You're able to do this for metal and then that for wood. So that's the advantage. This is a physicalized object as well. Before the procedural destruction, which is this thing over here, this is the Boolean destructible, as in it just creates the holes in real time wherever you shoot. But this is actually a pre-broken mesh, pre-broken version, and you can see that this breaks pretty nicely too. Depending on whatever you wanna choose, things fall down. You know, you can go ahead and just keep shooting the shit out of it. Let's go ahead and jump on the other side here and just go ahead and just obliterate it by shooting the crap out of it. And these pieces that fall off are physicalized, as I'm going to throw a grenade just to show you. See, they just moved based on the force of the grenade. That's another cool thing about using destructibles. There you go. But yeah, just figured I'd show you this as well. If you want to see the rest of my level, I don't know if you guys want to, but I'm going to show you anyways. This is not, I didn't create this, obviously. This is with Cryengine. I did modify, however. I added appropriate reflections and modified the glass and stuff like that. I use global illumination to make this light up appropriately. I obviously added reflections to the metal and everything to make it look more realistic here. These were just all blank, no reflections, so I made it look a lot nicer than it did previously. This is something that I created here. This is my own smoke particle that I created following a tutorial. This is a bench that I had modeled quite a while ago. Quite a while ago. This is something I didn't create. This is a regular object that comes with it. Like I said, I modeled this as well. This is an object that I spent a lot of time modeling here for a barrel. This is a vehicle factory that I'm going to be using on my RTS game here. Basically, this will lift up when a vehicle's being made, and the vehicles will kind of come right out of here. I modeled it and did the animations as well. I think I did a pretty good job on the animations. I got it coming up here, pausing, because it's like hydraulics, and then it goes to the second level. So I think I did a pretty good job. I'm not an expert in animation, but I'm pretty proud of that. This right here is a little oil drill for when you're going to place these and build these to get oil for resources. That's basically what this is here. That's animated, not animated well. I mean, it's okay for animation, but not really well. If you look here, the connecting joints is a little bit different, but you're going to be up here, you know, playing this, and this was going to be looking like. Let's go ahead and put a console variable in there. E underscore terrain LOD tab ratio 0. Okay. now that I've done that, I'm going to show you what the rest of my level looks like. It's running a lot slower because I've done the terrain LOD to 0, meaning everything is, no matter how long the distance is, it's going to show everything, the terrain, all high poly. That's why it's running at like 30, 40 frames per second. That's why it's running so slow. So let me just zoom way out so you can get a bigger look here. The shadows are being taken away as I'm backing up. Let's go ahead and just speed up the process by putting that at 10. This is my whole entire level here. There's a lot needs to be done, but this is like the bare bones. I just inputted so I can start working on it. I got a lot to be worked on. I started doing some beach sand. If you get really in close here, you can see some nice sand textures. That's the beach. The water is not final quality yet. There's a lot of stuff I need to do. Got little valleys and stuff. I did a good job on these the rocks. I mean, really nice quality. But I'm really proud of this that I've created. I'm really proud of this terrain. I think I did a good job. It took me a long time though. These are some pillars that I've created. This is going to be like a garage, concrete garage. This is a pillar that I created. Let's go ahead and jump right in game here. Let's go ahead and start destroying this, because this is a breakable that I've created as well. The inside textures are messed up on the insides. That's easily fixable here. Let me go ahead and get that. There we go. This thing's completely destroyable from top to bottom. I take pride in my work. I try really hard. A lot of people could do it better than me, but that's okay. I'm not as good. But at least take my time and do this kind of stuff. The whole thing is destroyable. Take my word for it. Let's back up. And these are physicalized as well. Pretty cool, I believe. Alright, thank you for your time, and really appreciate you looking at this tutorial as long as it is. Alright then, have a nice day. Leave comments, rate and subscribe if you want to. Alright then, thank you.